Good morning. Oh, I shouldn't say good morning because we don't know if it's morning.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It is morning. It's fine to say good morning. Because stuff is obviously not open yet. Okay.
Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek.
Hi, Eric Martin.
And we're going to do a quick walk around of Hall 2 to give you an idea of what is available and a little commentary on what it is that we see and differences in the different halls.
At Spiel.
Essen. So onward. So Eric, you've obviously been here probably one of the longest of any of the booth members. What do you find is distinctive in Hall 2?
Hall 2, of course, it's new in the past couple of years here at Spiel. It sort of embodies the old Hall 6, where it's kind of the fantasy aspect. You have a lot of role-playing material, a lot of fantasy stuff. You have books. What else are we going to have here?
Well, you know, we always kind of joke around that this is actually called Essen Spieltag mit Comic Action. Yes. And this is kind of the comic part of that title. Yes, this is where you're going to get a lot of the other stuff that is not necessarily board game related. Now we are walking around before the hall is open, so you can see that we're still in a frantic last minute setup here before the doors open up, and somehow this kind of all magically comes together by the time they usually give us about a 15-minute warning before the hordes descend upon us.
Right, the hordes. As you walk through the hall, what's not captured on the video is the rich leathery smell of Hall 2, which really comes from all the role-playing equipment that's here. Hall 2 is also kind of interesting. At 2015 here, they're trying to do a lot of countries coming together. So we have here this rich Polish assortment of publishers. I believe it's 9 publishers working together that have created one booth and come here and get everything you want from all the Polish publishers, except of course for those who are not participating. But yeah, and then we walk along. We also have a UK contingent, which has a number of groups working together, all trying to advertise each other's stuff and get people to come see them here.
What is similar to a lot of American conventions is you are going to see a lot of resellers in this hall. Pretty easy to pick them out because you're just going to see giant stacks of games and no play spaces. And that's something I think is a bit more unusual with Essen, is you're going to see booths predominantly dominated by areas to play because there are no external halls like you might find at Gen Con or Origins back in the States. If you want to play, you got to play in the booth, and that's your only space to play, because when the halls close, that's it. There's nothing after 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Evening.
Evening.
Evening. Now, we find that probably Hall 2 has a lot of the medium-sized booths, and believe it or not, this Ultra Pro in front of us is not one of the biggest booths. Ultra Pro is not one of the biggest booths.
No, far from it.
Far from it at all. But as we're making a concerted effort here to walk at a quite fast clip, as John, our cameraman, is having a really entertaining time keeping up with us, it is still going to take us a couple minutes just to walk through this one hall, which is one of 5, Eric? 1 of 4 halls open this year. It has shoveled around in years past because the different parts of this hall have been under construction and renovation, which is why all the numbers have changed in the last couple years.
That's right. So here we see a lot of the resellers, a lot of the comics all around. A lot of stuff you can just dig through and find different things. You have art exhibits here, kind of similar to Gen Con, except it's not so much, it's not devoted. Gen Con has this huge artist space here, and at Spiel, the artists are kind of mixed in along with some resellers and comic dealers and dice people and all sorts of stuff. T-shirt vendors. What else?
Yeah, so you do find you get a particular flavor to each hall, and I think this one probably has the widest variety, yes, all within the same hall.
Including here the stand where you can buy beer, which of course is something you would not see in the U.S. Yes, just buy the beer, open it, drink it as you walk around the hall. That's right. We're not going to see that in the U.S. at Gen Con anytime soon. Next door to
honey wine and mead, because that's what every discerning gamer probably honestly needs to have after buying and negotiating these halls for the last couple hours.
It's weird walking through here and just seeing all the games that I did not know about. Well, of course, it always happens. Always have surprises. There are things here.
One of the questions we typically get is, well, how many interviews do we have scheduled at the booth? And then how many does Eric and John usually do out on a mobile interview? And I'd say, all told, that we're probably about 150, maybe 200 if we're lucky. And the amount of games that are released here exclusive to Essen measure in the thousands. So we're scratching the bare surface of what you could possibly experience and try and attempt to play here.
And if you want to find things, we have a special used game vendor corner, something that we don't see at Gen Con, at least not like this, where you'll come to a vendor that obviously has hundreds and hundreds of things. They specialize a lot in the family games and things because this is a family event, right? You see Scrabble and Clue and all these regular games. Lots of stuff here. And, oh, gee, we're here looking for a special treat that someone may have on here. You should focus on that, John. It's going to be yours, right? I hope so. We'll take that big boss behind the counter. All right, and we come out here in the Galleria, which is between halls 2 and 3 and 7 this year, 4 in the previous. Has a lot of play spaces for kids. And this, again, is something that Gen Con sort of has now with its family center. But here, we're going to walk down and see some of this.
Certainly nothing on this scale, though. I mean, there's a blow-up bouncy castle. There's a giant bungee cord swings. There is my personal favorite, the 15-foot Ravensburger puzzle, jigsaw puzzle area, which is pretty fabulous. Not to mention, this is where you're probably going to get the most food vendors. This entire area is a kid space and also serves as a fun food court and transition between halls 7, 4, 2, and 3.
Except for those nasty fried pretzel spirals or potato spirals.
Well, that about wraps it up for a very quick walkthrough of Hall 2 and a little bit of the Galleria and a magical dance by Eric Martin. So we'll stay tuned for a few more hall tours.